Good afternoon, class. So, as I have started with the chapter Concerns and Needs in Diverse Contexts, Part A, that is Nutrition, Health and Hygiene. So, today I am going to recapitulate that part, and then I am going to start with the continuation. So, what we read in this chapter previously is what is this all about? Nutrition. What are these terms? Nutrition or health or hygiene? How health and hygiene are related to nutrition, or how both of the three of these things are related to each other. So we have read about this. We have read about what is health, what is the definition of health given by the World Health Organization. So you have to memorize that definition of the health according to WHO. And we have learned about the dimensions of health, that is the social health, and social health, mental health, as well as physical health. We have read about these three things, three dimensions of health, and also about healthcare. What are how the healthcare system is provided to the different individuals? What are the different stages of this healthcare? Those are the primary healthcare, secondary healthcare, as well as tertiary healthcare. So what are these? And examples also we have read. Now, what are the different indicators of health? How the indicators of health are beneficial? How the indicators help? And what are their roles also? What is nutrition and health? We have read about that. What are the different nutrients? What is nutrition? This malnutrition. What are the kinds of the malnutrition, undernutrition, overnutrition? How do good health and nutrition help? We have learned about this, and also the optimum nutritional status. Why it is important? Why is this optimum nutritional status important? So we have read up to this. Now today we are going to start with the productivity. So as we can see here that the different requirements for the productivity. So where does this productivity comes from? So now we know that for the optimum nutritional status, improvement of the productivity is also required. So productivity is related to some of the requirements. So what are these? We can see here. Number one is food. So proper food and proper utilization, intake of the food, and also with that utilization of the food leads to the productivity of health and nutrition. Now number two is optimum nutrition. So optimum nutrition means the proper amount of the nutrients present in the food. You have to have that total nutrition in order to get the optimum nutrition. Now the third one is positive health. Positive health, you all know that the health status should be positive. Your thinkings, your way of your behaviors, or your way of maintaining the daily healthy life also should be positive. Now number 4 is sanitation and health. The proper health, hygiene and sanitation is also required. Access to services or facilities. So you should be having the proper access to the different services and facilities in order to improve your productivity. And number 6 is education and skills. So all these 5 points that I have discussed is incomplete, or it is impossible rather without the proper education and skills. So you have to acquire the required or proper skills and education in order to maintain the mentioned requirements. And the last requirement is good environment. So first of all, the last 2 points, that is the education and skills and this good environment, both of these things are very important, because without these things the first 5 points will not be maintained properly. So that number 1 is you have to be in a good environment, and number 2 is proper education and skills. Without these two, you are not going to have acquire the required skills. So this is what we know about the different productivity requirements of the different productivity. So next we are going to learn about, so this is another table which is showing the different benefits of good nutritional status for children's education. So now here we can see that good nutrition has positive influence on several factors. So number one, it has given brain development. Number two is general state of health, and number three is vision. Both these three things are very important, or the primary important factors for the development or for the benefits of the good nutritional status for the children's education. And you can see the secondary points of these primary points are, because of the brain development, it affects the cognitive development. So what are the cognitive developments? Those are the memory, concentration and attention span. So three of these things can be together said as your concentration power. So the good nutrition, if it is positively influenced upon your brain development, then three of these things, that is memory, concentration and attention power, will grow. And now the general state of the health, what it's going to lead, leads to this active interaction with the environment, therefore reduces absenteeism and reduce risk of failure and dropout. So when your general state of health is good because of the good nutrition that has been provided to your children, then the active interaction with the environment, then the child will be interacted to its environment, therefore it reduces the absenteeism in failures and this dropout. Because of this, your child will gain the interest in going to school and to interact with the different people, and then it will somehow lead to your child to be smart and to positive health attitude. Okay, so now number three is vision. So good nutrition will also lead to proper vision, and proper vision will lead to the reduce of risk of visual impairment. So because of your proper vision, it will reduces the risk of this visual impairment. So now this is the benefits of the good nutritional status for children's education. Now comes malnutrition. I have already described, or several times I have told you about this malnutrition. So what is this malnutrition? Malnutrition is a deviation from the normal state of nutrition. When the intake of nutrients is less than the amount that is required by the body, or in excess of the requirements, malnutrition results. So malnutrition doesn't mean that your intake of the different nutrition or proper nutrition is less. It can also be excess. So both of these things, the normal, if the intake is reduces than the normal, and if it is excess than the normal, then malnutrition can occur. So malnutrition can take the form of overnutrition or undernutrition. As I have told you this earlier, excess intake of nutrients results in overnutrition, and inadequate intake results in undernutrition. Wrong food choices and combinations can be very significant causes of malnutrition in adolescents. So we have discussed about this earlier. So this is what we should basically know about this malnutrition. Now we are going to read about the different factors affecting nutritional well-being. Now, what are the different factors affecting nutritional well-being? So the World Health Organization has listed 4 main factors that are important for nutritional well-being. So the different factors which are affecting the nutritional well-being are food and nutrient security, care for the vulnerable, good health for all, safe environment. So food and nutrient security means that each and every person has access to and can obtain adequate food and nutrients throughout the year as per his or her requirements to enable him or her to lead a healthy life. So to lead a healthy life, you have to go through your proper requirement of the different nutrients in order to maintain the proper food and nutrient security. So now number 2 is care for the vulnerable. So care for those who are vulnerable means that each and individual needs loving care and attention reflected by caring behavior. So as we have read about this, caring of the vulnerable, or it is not in your class. In class 12 you will come to know that which group are vulnerable, and why they are vulnerable, and what are the different factors or what are the different programs which are established for the different vulnerable groups. So now I can let me say you the vulnerable groups. So those are the children, youth and elderly. So these are the different age groups which are really vulnerable, and because of their vulnerability, care for those people are very necessary. Now, health for all. It includes prevention of diseases and curing diseases when it occurs. Special attention needs to be paid to infectious diseases, since they can deplete the body of nutrients and lead to poor health and poor nutritional status. So health for all includes this prevention of the diseases. So that's why every citizen should get a minimum amount of health care. Health is a basic human right. Some of the diseases that take care of the toll of India, especially among young children, are diarrhea, respiratory infections, measles, malaria, tuberculosis, among others. So these are the very common diseases which occurs generally in large population. So health care for all the individuals should be very necessary. So now the last point is the safe environment. So as you all know that safe environment focuses on all aspects of environment, including physical, biological and chemical substances which may influence health. This includes safe, potable drinking water, hygiene foods and prevention of environmental pollution and degradation. So all of these factors lead to the safe environment, and which also lead to the proper or good nutritional well-being. So these are the different factors we have read about for the proper nutritional well-being. In our next class, we will be studying about these nutritional problems and their consequences. There are lots of problems which are the nutritional problems for our population, and we have to take it concern about these different nutritional problems which could lead to different chronic diseases in our life. So in order to get rid of these chronic diseases, or rather I'll make it clear that diabetes or this kind of coronary heart diseases, and there are also several diseases. To get rid of these kind of diseases, we need to properly maintain our nutritional well-being, and for that reason we have to get rid of the different nutritional problems. So there are different nutritional problems we'll discuss in our next classes: undernutrition and nutrition and infections. Several kind of infections also lead to the undernutrition, and many more. Also environmental hygiene, and also the chronic factors are there. We'll discuss about this in our next class. Till then,